The original standard was known as SAS 70, Statement on Auditing Standards, which in 2011 was replaced by SOC 2, Service Organizational Controls 2. This was developed in America by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. SOC 2 defines the criteria for managing customers' data based on the 5 service principles: security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. Unlike PCI DSS, which has very rigid security control requirements, SOC 2 reports are unique to each organisation. These are in line with specific business practices. Each designs its own controls to comply with one or more of the trust principles. First is security. The security principle refers to the protection of system resources against unauthorised access. Access controls help prevent potential system abuse, theft or unauthorised removal of data, misuse of software, and improper alteration or disclosure of information. IT security tools such as network and web application firewalls, two-factor authentication, and intrusion detection software are useful in preventing security breaches that can lead to unauthorised access of systems and data. The next one's availability. The availability principle refers to the accessibility of the managed service as stipulated by the contract or service level agreements, SLAs. As such, the minimum acceptable performance level for systems availability is set by both parties. This principle doesn't address system functionality and usability, but does involve security-related criteria that may affect availability. Monitoring network performance and availability site failover security incidents handling are critical in this context. You then get processing integrity. The processing integrity principle addresses whether or not a system achieves its purpose. Does it deliver the right data at the right price at the right time? Accordingly, data processing must be complete, valid, accurate, timely, and authorised. However, processing integrity does not necessarily imply data integrity. If data contains error prior to being input into the system, detecting them is not usually the responsibility of the processing entity. Monitoring of data processing coupled with quality assurance procedures can help ensure processing integrity. Confidentiality. Data is considered confidential if access and disclosure is restricted to a specific set of people or people within the organisation. Examples may include data that's only intended for company personnel, or its business plans or intellectual property. It might be financial data. Encryption is an important control for protecting confidentiality during transmission. Network and application firewalls, together with rigorous access controls, can be used to safeguard information being processed or stored on a computer system. And finally, privacy. The privacy principle addresses the system's collection, use, retention, disclosure and disposal of personal information in conformity with an organisation's privacy policy, as well as within the criteria that's set by SOC 2. The process to becoming SOC 2 certified is quite a long and arduous process. Our audit actually lasted 6 months. It starts with the auditor looking at your principles, your procedures, to see how they're carried out on a day-to-day basis and whether they conform with the standards that have been laid out. The audit will then go on and to the point where during your final audit they're actually looking at your live system. They want to connect into your cloud. They want to see the access certain people within your company have to firewalls, to networking equipment. So they really go into depth and make sure that not only your paperwork's up to scratch, but so is the infrastructure that you'll be hosting the data on. Being SOC 2 certified for Hyve Managed Hosting is really a big thing. A lot like in the UK, where ISO 27001 is the gold standard in information security. In the US, that's SOC 2. But I think customers can take a huge amount of comfort from a company that is SOC 2 certified, because as I said before, it's not just looking at your policies and procedures. It's looking at your day-to-day running of your company. It's looking at your staff. It's looking at your security and physical security items that you have within your building. And then it's also looking on the infrastructure that the data's held on. So it's an all-encompassing certification. Another point about Hyve Managed Hosting being SOC 2 certified could be looked at like this. Data centers are incredibly secure. Just to gain physical access to them is very, very difficult. You've got to have biometric scanners, you have ID cards, pre-arranged appointments, you might have to be escorted, and this is just to gain physical access. They hold the access of data just as securely. You'll find that the Tier 3 enhanced data centers are all SOC 2 and ISO 27001 certified. So as the man in the middle, as the company that's providing the managed hosting services, surely Hyve should hold these same accreditations. So the customer knows that the way the data center handles security, so does Hyve. So I think SOC 2 sits beautifully along ISO 27001 because it covers all of the information security bases that customers need, but also it's a big demonstration to your customers to say that we take this seriously. It doesn't matter whether you're in the US or Europe or the rest of the world. Hyve Managed Hosting takes the security of customers' data and indeed their own data really seriously, and that's really important to us. So if you've got any questions on how Hyve's SOC 2 certification can help you, your company and your data, give us a call, drop us an email.